I'm at the Masoni room in the Bibelos. That kayak was rocking too much on some Aaliyah shit. Going from the Vava to the Sang Von Sang back to the Vava. If you know, you know, baby. That's all I can say. But you might be wondering why I started off with such an intro right now. We're in the middle of the ocean right now. And if you don't know, you got to just look it up. Because one of my best friends, Aubrey Drake Graham, some people, you guys will probably call him Drake. I call him Obs, the boy, Broski. You know what I mean? Imagine if you never met the Broskis. We're live right now, middle of the ocean. Check it out. It's the Atlantic, folks. And we're here in Alamorada, Florida. I just want to check in with the folks right now, with the people. And honestly, I don't know if I paddled out far enough because right now I feel like we're drifting in pretty fast, so I'm going to have to talk quick. But we got an insane episode this week. Manny Puig, the Shark Man Manny Puig, a guy who I looked up to for a long time. You know what? We may just do the rest of this when I run aground because it's a podcast, bro. Like, this ain't Steven Spielberg. Like, I'm sorry I didn't go out 4 more miles. I'm not trying to bring all the electronics. I got the podcast mics out here in the middle of the ocean, which is not the first time that's happened. But I don't have any oversight. It's just me right now. It's a mano-y-mano with me in the ocean. So anyways, I just want to tap in with the people really quick because we've had a lot of really cool episodes lately and kind of just like not a State of the Union because that feels dramatic. But, you know, the first episode was just me talking to you guys, me talking to you. And then the second one, third one, fourth one, we've had a lot of crazy cool guests. But now I'm kind of trying to be like, get back in touch with the listeners. What's up? It's Ben. I'm here. I feel like it's gone really well so far. It's been a beautiful moment in my life to be able to get all this stuff out there. And after the 2 years and all the buildup, it's been a really crazy, cool thing. And I'm really grateful for all the feedback. Now, all the mushy stuff, whatever. You guys don't want to hear that shit. You guys want to hear it. You guys want me to sling it right now. And you know what? I sling it better than anybody that there is. Well, my hair's looking kind of crazy, dude. We got to go like, dude, what is up with that? That's just ocean. That's tough conditions right now. I don't know. I'm not in love with that hair, but we're going to keep going because this is live and we're floating in quick right now. The tide is coming in right now. Anyways, also, there's like stuff swimming by me. Like, I've been seeing it. But, yeah, I just want to say, I mean, since the day that first podcast came out, some of the craziest stuff in my entire life has been going on. And all I can say, I can't talk about it publicly yet, which I know is such a lame tease. And people are going to be like, why'd you say that? Literally, a turtle just came up right there. That's fucking crazy. I hope he comes up closer. Imagine getting that on the podcast, a turtle. I guess they don't say much, so podcast format's probably not built for turtles, but that was really cool. He just popped his head up and then looked at me. By the time I saw it, he came back down. But I'll keep an eye out for you guys. Anyways, it's a tough environment to focus for someone with ADHD. There's a lot of stuff going on. Anyways, some of the wildest shit in my entire life. I literally don't even know where to start. And someday, the good news is that we have some of the craziest episode in the history of this podcast, and the history of any podcast, is going to be coming at some point. I don't know when it's coming, but I can tell you that it is coming, and that I promise you will not be disappointed. That's all I can tell you. And whenever that comes out, we can come back to this right now, me sitting out here in this boat, and we'll be like, oh, I get it. Now you'll get it. Then you'll be like, wow, I get it. Another update, we got merch coming this week. We had a lot of stuff we sold in person. Now we got hats, we got hoodies, t-shirts, and more is coming soon, but that's the first iteration. The hats I love, we did with one of my favorite hat making people, this guy, Old School Hats, who's like, go look at their website or their Instagram page. They have like 10 million cool, like funny things. So it's like, I'm excited to be working with them. Shout out to my brother, Vandy, Freezer Tarps, as people might know, that set me up with him. Really, really cool. Ooh, look at all these minnows. Dude, stuff is going on right now. There's like 10,000 minnows just swimming underneath the boat, which kind of makes me look out this side, be like, who's chasing them? Anyways, one thing that I've wanted to talk about a little bit is that people have been asking me about the show. Like, what is Juggernaut? We thought it was going to be a show. I put the trailer out on my birthday. Then people are saying, where's the show at? So I get that's a very, very fair critique. And sometimes when you're doing all this stuff and you're wrapped up in your own world, I forget that's a very fair question. I could see why there's confusion there. Juggernaut is 100% a show. We wanted to start with the podcast because I thought it was a good way to get some consistency, breed some consistent content with big name guests to be like, hey, we're producing stuff every week. Let's get back on the board. Let's get the ship running straight. Because I'm going to be straight up with you. The content that we have coming out and like the show that I filmed might just be my favorite thing in human history. Like, it's so fucking cool. And we made a fucking movie. And it's like, it's literally a movie. Like, I know that people are going to think that I'm just like, you know, when you go out with your boys and you buy like a handle of Tito's, you're like, tonight's about to be a movie. Like, no, this is a movie, like a feature film. This is a big flicky, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't want to like come out of the gate and be like sloppy and not have, it's like, no, when that's like the big business. So first we wanted to set the stage, build the foundation. It's important to build a very strong, solid foundation, a lot of concrete, dig deep into the earth. I don't know. I don't, maybe it's steel. I don't know what they do now when it comes to foundations. But for me, we wanted to build it with the podcast and get it going. Hey, okay, we're back. Here's some consistent content. Here's everything, right? The show's been sitting there. We have it, and we're like trying to find out the best way to release it when it comes to sponsors. Like, okay, do we want this first one sponsored? Do we not? We're talking to a lot of places, and we were almost going to put it out on this big platform. I was like, I don't know how I feel about that, right? There's all different stuff with splits, with this, with that. I'm like, maybe we see what we have first, and then we put it out on that type of thing. I don't know. And we didn't really know, like, this is my first time putting something like that out on my own, right? We can put out on YouTube, we can put out on our socials, but we wanted to make sure it's right. Okay, how much do we try to get paid for it, sponsors? I don't know. So that's what we've been figuring out, and I wanted to have consistent social and podcast content first. So it will be out soon. So I want to talk about this as well. You know how amazing it is? Let me just say something quick. This might be the craziest podcast. I don't know if I can even use this right now. We're floating pretty close. Let me just say something right now. After 2 years of sitting there and being in this crazy depression and then coming out and building myself back and all this stuff, but then like still, you know, I hadn't been putting anything out, to be putting this content out from the bottom of my heart, this has been the coolest month of my entire life. I don't know how to describe it. It's the most beautiful journey, and it's like, it was cool the first time when I did it for Barstool Outdoors and all that. It was beautiful. But then to lose it all in my brain, to have everything be fucked up, and then to come back from that and then be here now, it's honestly better than the first time, because the first time you don't really know what you have. You know what I'm saying? And then now, like, the way to appreciate it when you've lost it all before, and then you get it back and you feel it, and you're like, you're holding on to it in a different way. The urgency is a different way. And I'm in a new mode right now. I really appreciate everyone that's been watching this stuff. I appreciate the guests, Forrest, Brad, and Python Cowboy, and everyone that we filmed, Manny. It's really fucking cool. And I appreciate you guys that have been watching it and listening. And a couple just random news items. How about today I get a video of orcas off Key Largo, like right behind me. Like the craziest thing, like I'm off Islamorada, but they left out Islamorada. We got orcas in Key Largo. What the hell's going on? I know they've had them in the Gulf sometimes, I've heard. I know they have them way down south. I've seen them in California, other places. But, oh my Lord, that is pretty wild. Like, what a world. Go watch that video. I think it's No Regrets Sport Fishing. I saw it from Nick Stanzik too. And like, oh my Lord. We got orcas off the Keys. That is like really, really cool. And supposedly they were eating like a swordfish or a big shark, like they were carrying around their mouth. Wild. And let me just say too, I'm a shark guy. I'm team shark. So that's the ops. I don't want to be like gassing up orcas too much, because it's like, relax. Like, I'm still a shark guy. I'm not trying to jump sides, but oh man, that's pretty crazy. Another thing I was going to say, everybody keeps asking me about these cocaine sharks. I've gotten so many texts. People, it's like, I can't tell if I'm getting trolled or what. Listen, they need ratings and we all need clicks. It's the eyeballs business, brother. I get it. I'm in it. I've been in it. But man, we can't be serious with this right now, right? Like, that's funny, and I get they're like, they were acting erratically. It's like, bro, I know whatever scientist did that. And listen, I get it. I've said some crazy shit before. You're trying to get views. We're trying to get views. But bro, let me just say this for me. I'm not a shark scientist, so if someone can disregard me, that's fine. But I'm a guy that's seen a lot of sharks. I've played with 1 million sharks in my life. In what world does a shark have interest in a bale of cocaine? It doesn't smell like anything they eat. It doesn't have electric, sensors. Like, when they like might bite a GoPro because they're like kind of figuring out what the electricity is. In what planet would they care about that? Especially if it's floating randomly. And the myth that they would somehow like go up to one and then eat it and then start be like acting like they're on coke. Like, I don't even know where to start. But let me just tell everyone, it's a funny joke. And listen. I'm in the eyeballs business too, so I'm about to keep joking about it too because it's funny. But just from me to me, from me to you, let's just all stay on the same page here. This is madness, brother. What did Drake say? It's a madness and a badness combination. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what this is. This is crazy right now. There's no sharks eating cocaine. That's just from me to you, and we can all be in on the joke. You guys can message me and be, or comment, oh, I just saw a shark eat a bale of cocaine. It's funny. You know how many times I like saying, oh, I just caught a shark. He's off that Lindsay Lohan. Like, that's funny, dude. I've been listening to rap music my whole life. It's fun to be able to make cocaine references like that. Pusha T should probably be involved somehow. And I'm a Drake guy, so I I'm taking that back. But I'm just talking Coke stuff. Like, people want to talk about Coke. People love that. Cocaine bear, cocaine, what was the other one? Some shit. But in all reality, what fucking planet are we on right now? They would never have. I've had sharks where I try to catch sharks. That's my favorite thing to do, is like get them up close and look at them. I've had sharks I've chummed for 4 hours. I got blood everywhere, and I put a bloody hunk of tuna in front of their face, and they kind of look at it, and maybe there's a wire, and they don't like it. And that's bloody tuna that they like. I've had sharks not eat like a live bait because it was looking dead or something. It's like, they're not idiots. Like, people think that sharks just see stuff floating and just like explode on it like a missile. Brother, what are we talking about right now? This is madness right now. Keep your heads, folks. Keep your heads. Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? No. Like, everyone stay calm right now. There's no sharks eating cocaine. Hate to bust that myth. But anyways, yeah. So, I don't know. We're floating in the middle of the ocean right now. There's a Cuban raft. Like, you can't see it, but I think it's here. Right there. That washed up. Pretty crazy. People came all the way from Cuba, and that thing, they built it by hand. That's pretty wild. But, yeah, it's a beautiful day to be alive. We got Manny Puig coming up right now. I went to his house. I'm not going to say where it is, but near Miami. And it was just me and Manny. This interview, I'm just going to cut straight to the chase, break the fourth wall. I was nervous, dude. I've looked up to Manny Puig for a long time. He's a true wild boy. Jackass fame. He's like, when I walked up, he's like, oh, Steve-O was here yesterday. I'm like, that's cool. That's really cool. And maybe I'm dating myself because, like, kids these days may not know Jackass as much as my generation, bro. Bam Margera, CKY, all the crazy, like, skateboarding stuff, dude. Wild. So this was really cool. Manny Puig, thank you for doing this, and enjoy. I want to tell one story really quick, too. So as I'm on the kayak right now, and I'm floating right out where this happened. Look how beautiful the ocean is right now. It does not get better than this. When I fall asleep at night, this is what I dream of, straight up. This is the beautifulest thing in the world. Anyways, one quick story. When I was in high school, I think I was like 15. It was like probably around this time, but it was wintertime where it gets dark a lot earlier. And I hooked a shark. It was Christmas Eve. I'll never forget, because my best friend, he had to go up to go to Christmas Mass, and I was like still messing around on the dock. And we had just came in from fishing. We had all these carcasses to go shark fishing with. And I hooked a shark. It was a big blacktip, which I didn't fully know at the time, but he took off. And anyone who knows blacktip sharks, they take off. They're so fast. They're so strong. Maybe one of the best sport fish on the planet, I think, as far as like acrobatics and speed and strength. And anyways, I'm getting spooled. He's dumping the line like crazy. And I'm like looking at it. I had a spinning rod at the time, and it was our first rod we ever caught a lemon shark off the dock, which was like special to us, right? That was in 6th grade. And so I was like, man, I don't want to lose all the line on this. I don't want to lose this fish. So I got in the kayak, because we would take the kayak and paddle baits out as far as we could so that we could get it further than casting, right? So I asked my dad, he was there. For the record, I asked him, I was like, hey, can I go in the kayak, catch a shark? He's like, yeah, it was daytime. So I get in the kayak. Anyone who's ever fought a big shark or big fish from a kayak would know. You just get, it's called a sleigh ride, right? And they just take off, and he's pulling me far out. And because there's less drag, because he's just pulling the kayak. You're not as much like having drag go out. And also, when I got in, I was spooled, so I'm like directly connected. So I start reeling, getting a little closer, and he's taking me out, way out far. Like, I'm talking the farthest I'd ever been out in the kayak, right? And one thing leads to another, and it starts getting dark. This big cloud came over, I remember, and like by the time the cloud was over, I look up, it's like basically dark. And like when you're distracted and you're in a kayak, and like I had nothing. I had a rod and this paddle. Luckily I had the paddle. And I'm like, oh my God, it's dark out now. I have no light. I have no knife to cut this thing loose. Not that I was gonna, but I'm like, I have no way out. I'm like, I can either dump the rod and have this shark swim around with a rod, which is not something I was gonna do, and it was my favorite rod, or I can take my nuts in my hand, and I got to get this guy back to the dock somehow. And in a young man's life, there's a lot of coming of age moments, right? Maybe they have to do with a young lady. Maybe they have to do with like fighting someone, right? Like maybe you get in a fist fight in school. I don't know. But for me, this was maybe my most coming of age moment. I'll never forget as long as I live. It was like the first time you have to really problem solve by yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're like, I really don't have like a way out of this other than my brain right now and my muscles in my hands. And I cranked the drag all the way tight. And I remember being like, I cannot let any more line out. I can't go any further out. I have to tow this shark back to shore. So I start cranking, and I put the rod in between my legs, and I'm paddling as hard as I can, right? I'm 15, dude. I was probably 130 pounds. Like, I don't know. And I'm cranking as hard as I can, and I started to turn him, and I'm like, oh, my God. And I'll never forget, after like 30 seconds, I'm like, oh, my God, I'm towing him back. And all of a sudden, and he just starts towing me back out. And it was like this moment where I'm like, oh, my God. This is me versus the shark. And it was the craziest thing, like, in my brain. I'd never been that one-on-one with like an animal like this, and the way that it was. And it ended up taking me like 2 hours, right? 2.5 hours to get back to the dock. And I eventually towed him back, and I had the thing wrapped in, and I was grunting, yelling. I'm like, "Argh!" Like, you know, it's like one of those moments in your life where you're just like all in, you know? And when I'm getting back to the dock, I'm getting close. I can see the lights on the dock. And all my life growing up, I was obsessed with Zane Grey, right? Like, anyone who's read or looked up Zane Grey, I'm obsessed with him my whole life. When Zane Grey would come back to the dock, they would have these giant 1,000-pound marlins, like 1,000-pound tiger sharks, all stuff. And there would be like hundreds of people waiting. I don't know how. They radioed in, and everyone's like wanted to come see the big sea monster. And in my mind, I'm going to come back to the dock, and it's going to be like a Zane Grey scene. Like, everyone's waiting there like, oh my God, this heroic kid just went out and brought this shark back with his bare hands, right? And as I'm getting closer to the dock, oh my Lord, there's like 25 people out on the dock. And I'm like, oh my God, this is it. Like, this is what I've been training my whole life, reading these Zane Grey books. The old man in the sea was me at this point. And I'm getting closer. I'm like, now I'm really churching it up. You know, I'm like, ah, like just screaming and hollering, like making it this dramatic scene. And I got the shark towed behind me. I'm like, oh, I'm bringing this guy back. And you guys are all going to see this giant shark I just caught. And as I get closer, I'm probably 200 yards away. Everyone's on the dock. I'm like, oh, I got him. I'm screaming. I see everybody start walking off the dock. I'm like, yo, no, I got him. He's here. Like, I'm like waiting for everyone to celebrate me like the hero's welcome back home. And everybody's leaving to walk down the dock. They're going home. I'm like, what the fuck? You guys missing the show? I'm about to bring this giant shark back. And I'm so confused. I'm like, they must not know I have him. They must not, whatever. By the time I got to the dock, it was only my dad was there. And the first word, I never seen a look on someone's face with such pure murder ambitions. He wanted to murder me with his bare hands. And he looks at me, he's like, you stupid fucking idiot. I'm like, what? And I'm like, he's like, you fucking idiot. I'm like, wait, he's like, we thought you were dead. I'm like, dead? I'm like, bro, I just pulled off the most heroic thing in human history. Like, it was like Zane Grey, Ernest Hemingway's The Old Man in the Sea, that guy. And then me, I'm like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. He's like, I'm going to kill you. Everyone, he's like, mom is beside herself, been crying. We try to call the Coast Guard. We call this stuff. No one thought it was cool. And now I have this shark attached to me. And I'm like, no one even wanted to see it. He's like, let that thing go. And you're going upstairs like you're grounded. I'm like, bro, I brought him back. Like, I'm thinking it was just this crazy disconnect of, I thought it was this heroic moment. And brother, it was the farthest thing from it. And, so I don't know if that's like a happy ending of the story, but all I'm going to say is this: amongst all that other BS of like, you know, was it good? Was it bad? Everyone's mad at me. That moment changed my life in the moment in the sense that when he came up the first time, I can't see. It's like pretty dark, right? It's like, there was like a little moon, but it's pretty dark. And he came up and like, I'm looking at it. And like, when it's dark in the ocean, you got no light. You can't, like, he got really close and the thing comes up and just smacked me with his tail so fucking hard. Like, my whole leg had this red rash on it. He smoked me. I'm like, and I was scared. I was really scared. I was kind of like one of those, mom, come get me, I want to go home type things. I'm like, this isn't as fun anymore. And that moment where you got to take your nuts in your hand and say, I'm going to bring this guy back to dock. I have to figure this out. No one is going to help me. I think anyone who's ever been in like outdoors or wilderness or any sort of thing like that, that moment is a beautiful moment, because from forever from that time, I will know that feeling that it's all in. You got to figure it out no matter what. And I cherish that. As scary as it was, as much trouble as I got in, as much as I feel bad, I wish that shark would have been released faster. That moment in your life you can't replicate. So I don't know. That's just a little kayak story. I don't really have. And the funniest thing, I have no picture of the shark, because they just made me, they're like, cut it loose and let's go up to bed. So I have no picture, no nothing. But I think it's one of the coolest moments in my life when I got him back in. And yeah, I don't really know. That's like one of those times you ramble and people are probably like, all right, brother, we're going to just keep going about our day. But that's a kayak shark story. And I've caught a lot of them off here since then, but never like that. And when I went back to school after winter break, I'll tell you what, I had that juice. I had a little bit of different juice when I came back in those hallways, because I'm like, all right, none of these guys know what it's like to take your nuts in your hand and just make it happen. So I love you guys. Let's get into this Manny Puig interview and Juggernaut podcast. Let's go. Middle of the ocean. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare the cat. That was bad. I should have warned the cat.
No, he's fine.
Okay, I guess we're live. This is a special moment for me because I didn't want to say this before we're on camera because it would have been awkward. Maybe it's awkward now, but this is a guy I've looked up to, honestly, since I was a little kid. I was watching Wildboyz, the Shark Man, Manny Puig. Like, I can't even tell you. Here's what I'll say. There's a lot of people that like animals on this earth, and there's a lot of people that are good at working with animals. But it's a very rare person to be the real deal like this guy right here. And I got to tell you, thank you for having me here in your house. Or, I don't want to dox him or put him on blast, but thank you for having me over. Thank you for being part of this moment because, Manny, you shaped a lot of my adventures growing up. And I did a lot of dumb things, crazy things, everything I wanted to be the Shark Man growing up. So how are you, Manny? Thank you for joining the show right now.
I'm good. Just be careful with all the stuff. I'm here by the grace of God because some of the stuff I did, especially in the earlier years, I took tremendous chances.
Right.
That I'm not supposed to come out of them.
Well, I think that makes it even crazier. The fact that you're here today, you might have done more. Okay, to the average public, I think you might have done more things that people would never do in their life than maybe anybody I know. Do you think that's a fair thing to say?
Maybe yes, but I've slowed down a little bit right now. I want to survive. Some of the stuff I did, I don't want to do over again.
Right.
And
So
I always warn people about doing this kind of stuff because it can be, this is a great adventure. It's a lot of fun, but always this stuff is lethal. The animals may not give you a second chance. They have no rules, and they're dangerous.
That is one thing I think the first time, because I grew up, out of everything that you do, I would say the first thing that was really my obsession is sharks, and still is to this day. I love sharks more than anything. And I'm from Missouri, but I grew up coming down to the Keys and trying to catch sharks, and that was the first thing that I really experienced where, like you said, they don't care about your fingers. They don't care about if you're a nice guy or you got good grades or you parents like you. They don't care about that at all. And that's the thing about nature that's amazing,
Yeah, when the sharks are hungry, they're dangerous.
And if you're messing with, so when we'd go to release one, we'd tag and release them and stuff, it's they don't know you're trying to tag them. They think you're trying to kill them. They don't care.
Some sharks have a bad temper and they'll bite you out of anger. Other sharks only attack when you're a source of food, when they're very hungry.
Yeah.
That's what they do. They're smart and they're all different. One individual from the other. So when you're in the water, you don't know who you're coming up against or what he's going to do.
I actually think that's one of my favorite things about, interacting with sharks a lot of times that I've, one of the biggest things that I've learned is, when I see a lemon shark every day, all different ones, it's amazing. I think people don't understand how much one shark to the next from 10 minutes apart, even them, the same shark 10 minutes apart, might act completely different. When he comes up, he's hot, and the next thing you know, he's, docile. It's amazing how smart they are.
Lemon sharks are dangerous, and they have a very, very bad temper.
Oh, yeah.
So when you're capturing a lemon shark, he's going to bite you, the boat, and everything around him.
Yeah.
He's ferocious. And when he's hungry, he can be ferocious also. People underestimate a lot of these sharks. And there's a lot of sharks in Florida waters right now, more than usual, than it has been in the last 20, 30 years. So it's more dangerous out there. I started spearfishing for a living in my younger years. And then I learned a lot about sharks, a lot of spearfishing, encountering all the different types.
Kind of coexisting with them when you're down there.
Yeah, I got an idea of interacting, went from the hunting them to interacting, riding, hand feeding, and just playing around, and then getting a video of this and watching it later, checking it out. It was just a lot of adventure and a lot of fun.
So obviously, everyone knows the Shark Man from Wildboyz and all that, and you became internationally this giant deal. But what about before those days? When you were growing up, what were the first things that you kind of remember being obsessed with nature? What got you in? What was your entryway?
Started at the age of 4, sticking my arm in the hole of a land crab and grabbing it by the claw and trying to pull it out.
And my dad, getting bit or no? Or getting?
I used to grab by the elbow back then.
Yeah.
I was a very stupid kid, but I was smart when it came to that.
Yeah.
I was good at art, and good at catching animals, but really stupid for like math and things like that.
Same here. I'm not a math guy either, so we have that in common.
Yeah, I was really dumb for all that. So I grabbed him by the elbow, and then so he couldn't reach me with the other claw or get me. And then he would drag me as tight into the hole as possible. My dad would come by and grab my legs and pull back, and the land crab would come out of the hole. I'd be holding on to it.
And what was your dad's reaction? Was he like, don't do that? Or was he like...
Daniel was like into that kind of stuff. I was grabbing lizards and all that. By the time I was in high school, I was already bit by a rattlesnake. I was already diving on large alligators and hand catching them in the wild. And so
in high school?
In high school. Yeah, I learned the hard way. I remember jumping through the hyacinths. An alligator jumped in the water, and I dove right through the hyacinths underwater into pitch darkness, just reaching out and grabbing anywhere I could and holding on and coming up with the alligator. That method I don't do anymore. Yeah. Many years later, I learned how to interact with alligators underwater and how to levitate. Once I discovered how to levitate the alligators, I could do an encounter would put me at less risk.
Right. So tell for people at home that don't know, you just said the words that I think a lot of people on Earth have never really said when you say, I levitated the alligator. What do you mean by that?
I reached underneath the alligator and grabbed the skin underneath and slowly lift him up.
Right
and
under his
if he
jaw?
takes off, under his jaw, I grab the skin there. I try to get face to face with him, so keep my head low so he doesn't see me, and then go overhead and up with him. I learned how to, I could go back and forth, and also learned if I tilt him straight up, he'll go into tonic immobility.
Really?
So those are things I learned. Is it safe? No. I got bit by an alligator one time in my life.
Really?
In my back, and I got ambushed.
No way. So it wasn't even, you didn't see him coming at all?
Didn't see him coming at all. I felt like somebody hit me with a baseball bat across my back. It was an alligator biting me.
How big of a gator?
A 10-footer.
Oh, man.
He got a hold of my wetsuit and scratched my back and peeled back, so he didn't get a good grip on me. If not, he would have ripped off my arm or something. He got my shoulder.
Amazing. And this was in the Everglades here?
Yes. And I came out very good from that one. But as far as hand catching them, I never got bit doing that, or levitating or confronting alligators. So I've caught...
That's amazing.
I caught a lot of large alligators by hand back in the day underwater. Always in the wild. And that's... I kind of like that. I used to watch like Sea Hunt and Tarzan movies and all that when I was a little kid, and I got inspired by those kind of ideas.
So like when you're talking about in high school jumping, was that kind of like when it started like blossoming, when you're like, I'm going to start doing anything I can? Was like when you got a car and you could go drive around and like...
It was like a challenge. Most of the time there was no camera or anything. It was just sometimes me by myself doing it. I just wanted to see if I could actually do it. And then I didn't think I was going to make a living at it or anything like that. I was just going to go do it. I started with a little one and a bigger one and a bigger one until I got into really big ones.
So what was the first time that like you got a picture of it or someone saw it and was like, what's going on here, Manny? Like how can you do this?
I remember one kid, by the time I was already, in high school, there was one guy, a football player, came out with me one time. His name was Joe Yeaman. Mm-hmm. He accompanied me to the lake, and I dove on an alligator. And I remember I got a hold of him, and I couldn't climb out of the water with him, and he had to help me pull the alligator out of the water.
What was he thinking?
He was thinking it was all really cool.
Yeah.
But I was like, here, hold the jaws. So I grabbed the back of his legs. You know, if he let go, the alligator bit me in the head. So, so here,
you just asked this guy that you knew.
We're in high school. Hey, can you come over with me to the lake? Yeah. I'm going to go check it out. And I saw an alligator. Man, I'm going to dive on this one. The alligator dove in the water, and I got a hold of him. And I came up, the alligator's mouth was wide open. I had the alligator by the front legs. He was swinging every which way. He's about maybe 7.5 feet. And then I gave the jaws to this guy, and he grabbed the jaws, and we pulled them out. And
what'd your friends say after, like when you guys are sitting there?
Oh, it was an exciting moment. It got all scratched up and everything. Another time, this kid goes, I hear you catch alligators. I want to bring my little brothers, and I want you, can you catch one for us so we can watch? We went out to the lake again, and I jumped on a 9-footer.
No way.
And I remember he had to help me and put a belt around his mouth if I get him out of the water. Because, you start picking him up and walk out of the water with him, he's gonna get you.
And so a 9-pound gator's what, a couple 100 pounds probably?
Oh, yeah.
So that's
I was strong back then in high school and early years of college.
Still, though, I think one thing that people don't realize when it's like, say that you have a 100-pound shark and you're like, oh, I can lift 100 pounds.
No.
It's wiggling and it's moving and it's like, it's not 100 pounds. It's way more than that.
I remember one time with the Wildboyz in California, I jumped in the shallows. Remember even jumping a a 5-foot leopard shark, and
Yeah.
he gave me a fight like you read about. I got him.
Yeah.
I caught him, but man, that thing, he was everything I had to just hold on to it.
Oh yeah.
It was really hard. All those sharks, I used to hand catch them. They're hard to hold on to. I learned better techniques how to hand catch a shark later
Yeah.
on.
What is your best? Because I've hand caught not as many as Manny. I've hand caught a few of them. What's like the number one way that you'd say is the most efficient way to hand catch a shark?
The easiest sharks I ever caught in my life were silkies. I'd put them in tonic immobility and lift them right out of the water.
Really? Silkies?
Yeah.
I would not have guessed that's what you're gonna say.
He'll bite you. He'll bite you. Lemon sharks, diving from the boat on them.
Really? What?
Yeah.
Just right behind like the gills, like
Chase
behind
them,
the head?
chase on the boat, try to tire them out, and dive on them from the boat.
What happens if you miss by a little
You
bit?
get bit.
Yeah.
I got bit twice doing that. I got bit by a nurse shark doing that really bad. Also, a nurse shark, I let him eat. When his belly's full, tackle him.
Really? Because then he's not like.
He's not as likely to bite you, and he's exhausted from eating and struggling with
Yeah.
the food.
I love when nurse sharks like because we'll chum a lot
But
sometimes.
he's hard to
and they
hold
come
on
eat 'em.
to. A nurse will
Oh,
twist
yeah.
hard. He's twist, and he's hard to hold on to.
And that skin is tough too.
Mako, I hand caught Mako, but while he's feeding, lure him in to my arms of food and slowly get a grip on him and hold on. And he tries to jump and then just hang on to that Mako. with
I've
everything you
never
got.
heard of that. How many people have hand caught Mako sharks? Just you think?
Yeah.
I don't know any. I've never heard of that before.
I hand caught Makos. I hand caught a lot of types of fish like Goliath grouper,
Oh,
black
yeah.
grouper, red grouper, mutton snapper, mangrove snapper. I caught flathead catfish by hand, long-nosed gar, regular gar. Trying to think of different types of fish I've caught by
What's one that you haven't caught that you like or that you want to?
freshwater, saltwater.
Saltwater.
I don't know. I've caught almost every fish
Really?
that I wanted to catch just about by hand.
What about freshwater?
I may try an alligator gar. I thought about it,
Oh,
but I just
man.
not as strong. I mean, I caught some 5-foot long-nosed gar before, and that was tough to hold on to.
Those gator gar are mean, man.
Well, it's a matter of on the long nose, I use gloves, and I grab them by the snout
Yeah.
at night with a light, because if not, you're not going to get close enough to get your hands on them.
Right, right.
And then when you're close enough, a sudden grab and hang on. And then his teeth get caught up in your glove, and you
Yeah.
hold on. If you don't have a glove, he'll rip the skin right off your hand
Oh, yeah.
with the little teeth hanging out of his mouth. So you hold on and then straddle him, hold him as good as you can, and bring him up the long nose.
So I remember, Manny, the first time that we ever talked on the phone. Shout out to my friend Garrick in Santa Barbara. He gave me your number. He set it up. But I remember the first time that I called you. You were telling me about catching Goliath grouper by hand, which to me is maybe one of the strongest fish in the entire ocean. I think they're like superhuman in their ability. How can you do that by hand? Because they kill people like divers if you get connected.
The Goliath grouper is an aggressive fish. If you get real close to him, you get in his face, he starts making a booming sound. He's warning you to back off. You keep messing around, he bites you. Hold your arm in front of him. When he bites your arm, he locks onto that, and then you come into the gill opening and hold your other arm inside, and then try to come up with him.
So like
You know,
noodling kind of.
Yeah, it's noodling. I'm holding my breath. So then, he can't move forward very well, and he can't back very well. So he starts going in circles, and then I slowly try to bring him up. If you get directly above him, he can kill you with one of his spines.
Oh, yeah.
He'll go right into you. And if you look at your surrounding, when he goes crazy, he can smash you into a wreck, whatever you're getting, or a cave, and he can hurt you. If you put your hand in the gill, he won't let you. But if you grab him by the gill and he's facing forward, you won't be able to stop him. He'll drag you through the entire ocean and smash you into everything in sight.
You're saying if you come in from the side.
Yeah, you got to come in from the front. He can hit you with his face and hurt you badly. It's a powerful animal. I'm not so sure I really want to catch too many more of those.
How was the first time doing that? Like, how did you figure out you could?
I just looked at it, and I started, I can do this. And I just started. I've always told everybody it's a gift of the good Lord.
Yeah.
Always, for all these things I did, he kept me alive and taught me all these things that I could do and ways to I could make a living and survive and educate people about it.
I feel like that's a cool aspect as well, because one thing, so for me, when we first started doing this show that I did, we would sometimes get bit by pythons and things, and people would say, oh, you guys are Wildboyz or Jackass, almost as if it's like, and I know I've listened to interviews of yours before where it's like, I know that you guys didn't want to make that like disrespectful, when you never want to disrespect an animal, so that's something that I feel like is cool that you make sure that you're like promoting the conservation and like how powerful and beautiful they are, and not just because that's one thing I think people could see stuff you've done and say, oh, I want to try to do that, and then it comes off for them, they're doing it just for videos or for whatever. So there's like a fine line, you know what I mean?
It all depends. It's, you know, entertainment one way or the other.
Yeah.
If you're talking those guys, their idea is to mess up and get hurt.
Right.
You know, they thrive on doing everything backwards and getting hurt, and everything just exactly what you're not supposed to do is what they're gonna do.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
You know,
exactly.
I mean,
yeah.
the show is about dumbasses, and they're gonna be, you know, they're professional dumbasses. If you want to,
They're the best ever.
They're good. They make everybody laugh.
And what was your like? So sorry to go back. So people start asking you, can you catch gators in front of us? They're watching. When did it become this thing where everyone around knows Manny's the guy to do crazy animal stuff?
It has to do with video.
So this was like in the 90s or what?
You have to have somebody, exact time, you have to somebody take pictures and video.
Right.
Of you doing it, and the person doing it with you on the video has got to be a lot like you to get in there and do it with you. So if that guy is not as, you know, it's not like insane about doing this kind of stuff, the video man is not going to hang in there, you know.
Right. So then you started doing that on videos, and then Jackass and Wildboyz reached out to you?
Yes. Yeah, we're doing Animal Planet, a few things like that. We did a lot of free diving, a lot of different things. We filmed a little bit of spearfishing that didn't take off as much, but we did some of that. I used to spearfish for a living.
Yeah. Around here?
In the Keys.
Really?
And everything. And I used to, you know, dive lobster, sell lobster, shoot fish at a market price for food.
Right.
I mean, people eat fish. They got to eat fish. So there's nothing wrong with fishing. There's nothing wrong with proper hunting, wildlife management. If you don't, then you get too many deer, you get too many of this and too many of that, and then, you know, everything goes kaput. So you got to watch, you know, what's out there, what's going on. Is there enough? If there's no predators, the deer population grows. There's too many predators, they'll wipe out the deer. So it goes back and forth like that. You got to like, okay, we're gonna even the score out here, so they don't.
Right.
If not, the animals will just starve to death. And
so
mass quantity.
A guy like you who's like. That's your element, going in there, spearfishing, doing everything. When you were doing that every day for a living, was that like the most fun thing of all time?
It was, but it's a hard way to make a living.
Stressful,
with a video, once you get TV, you get paid for that. Then you don't have to spearfish. You go out and get a few fish to feed the sharks or for you to eat, and you don't have to get a boatload of fish to pay your bills, because you're already making money from the from the videos and the entertainment.
And what kind of fish were you spearfishing back then for, like?
Mainly grouper, snapper, amberjack.
Yeah.
Things like that.
So what, like
different
50,
prices.
60 feet or less?
Anywhere from super shallow, I've speared fish at like 4 or 5 feet of water in the wintertime for magro snapper.
Yeah.
Or free diving past 100 feet to get
really?
Or using tanks to go past 200 feet to get deep water fish.
Really?
I did it all.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
What's the deepest? I like free diving, but I did a lot of tank diving. When you're with a crew, they don't want you to. It's not a sport. They want you to go out there and shoot the fish, fill up the cooler, gut the fish, ice them properly. You know, you don't want to sell fish that are spoiled.
Right.
And it's a job, so you're not out there to play. When you're filming, it's all about, okay, I'm gonna catch this fish by hand.
Right.
It's a sport of the challenge. Okay, I've speared enough of them. Now I'm gonna leave the spear gun in the boat. I'm gonna see if I can catch one by hand, and to sell that. Now, if I'm promoting the spear gun or the spear, then you're using that. But if you're promoting yourself and what you're doing, then you use your hands or nothing else.
At what point did you make your first trident or like tool yourself?
I wanted to have these tools and these weapons. I liked them. I couldn't find them anywhere, so I had to make them myself.
And you'd never done any sort of steel stuff or iron or anything before?
No, I started little by little, like with hacksaws and files and going through a real hard time. Then I got into cutters and grinders and then water cutters and everything. Like this is a marine grade 316 stainless. I'd make all this by hand. The outside I water cut it.
Yeah.
And then the inside is I engrave it all by hand with a grinder, with a handheld grinder. And I shaved the wood down. I engraved the fish skeleton by hand. I'm an artist. I've always been an artist.
Since you were a little kid?
And I signed the back of it.
Yeah, that's so cool.
See.
So you've always been doing art stuff, like, alongside of all of this?
Yes, I was an artist when I was a kid. Remember, I told you I was really stupid in school, but I was good at art. I was always number one in the class when it came to drawing and art.
Like, inspired by what you've seen in nature? Like, what
Yeah,
caused
I used to draw a lot of stuff like that. I also like history.
Yeah.
You know, I like the history I read about the Indians and the Vikings and pirates and all the different things.
Right.
World War II, World War One.
So that's where that kind of
the
started?
Greeks, the golden age of Greece, the Roman Empire. I looked at the weapons, the medieval knights, how they hunted wild boar with spears.
Oh, really?
I was into all that stuff, and I was fascinated the way they made their armor, they made their weapons.
Yeah.
This is like a hook. This is like kind of like a Hawaiian style
that is
shark
so
hook,
cool.
made out of 316 stainless.
With the lemon on there?
That's a tiger. See
Is it?
Yeah, look at the.
Oh, yeah.
The lemon has a
I was
second.
looking
The
at
second
this-
dorsal is a little bit bigger on the lemon.
No, I know, but I guess I was misjudging it from the thing.
It's a little
That's
small,
gorgeous.
smaller. But if I made, there's a lot like it. I had to make this fin a little bit
Yeah,
bigger.
yeah.
And I got, you can see the stripes on it and everything.
How much does this weigh? Man,
Yeah, it's
that's
a lot.
amazing. So how long? Look at that. How long does this take you to do? Because this looks really
Well, that's
intricate.
all done by hand with a carbine tip Dremel. I do water cutting, grinding. Shape the hook by with a handheld grinder by hand, and then this one here I got a Mako shark carved in it. You can
That
see.
is insane. Wow.
Watch it, don't drop it on your
Oh,
foot.
I'm not, I'm not.
Heavy.
That's my dog's name, Manny, is Mako.
Oh
The
wow.
dog I was telling you about. Wow, that is beautiful. So, like, this is something that takes what, like a week?
No, I'm fast at working.
Really?
I'm very fast, but it's still when I'm exhausted when I'm done with it, and I got to stay focused or I'll mess it up.
Yeah,
And when
I'm
I'm
sure.
Dremel, I draw it with a Sharpie, and then I take the Dremel and carve out. I draw it when I got it where I want it. Then you start shaping it, but it ain't like this. When you draw it and you carve it, it's totally different thing. This is a tooth. It's kind of like my mixture of a great white shark tooth and a megalodon, kind of like that.
That is
that's
beautiful.
handmade. I signed the back of it. I made
That is
those,
really, really cool.
and I got hooks. Those are necklaces.
Yeah.
hook necklaces I make.
That's cool. And where can people buy these?
My Instagram. Just get a hold of me and
They just contact you?
contact me and Zelle
It's amazing
the
how
money
well made
over,
it is.
and I'll send it to you.
That's crazy that you could do that by hand. And what's like, so when you
Crosses,
take,
I wear my cross, my Christian cross,
that's all handmade.
and I got some pictures. Should I show the pictures?
Yeah, of course. Here, hold
hold
that.
this 1 second.
And the tridents take that long too, or less?
Tridents take a while because I got to work the wood, stain it, and everything else.
Oh man, that is beautiful. See, I'm a shark guy, Manny. To me, that's my favorite. Like when I see that, that just makes me excited.
You're a shark. Okay, here we go. Come on.
That's beautiful. Big old fat bull.
Yeah, that's my.
There you go.
This
Man.
is my bull shark here. It's a bull shark, magnificent shark, considered the world's most dangerous by many people. And I draw this with a fine point Sharpie. And I do, I draw it first with pencil, and I go with a fine point Sharpie, and then I make copies of it. These are the originals.
Oh, really?
Yeah, let's put this one over here. 1 second.
Wow, that is gorgeous.
This is my tiger shark right here.
Oh my lord, that's crazy. How long does that take? That's got to be a while.
Well, every little dot's got to be made by hand,
Right.
every single
That's
one, and I got to
amazing.
draw it and pencil first, and then shade it in and all that.
God, that is beautiful. You know what's crazy to me? The first time I saw a tiger shark, the way that they have that almost like rainbow, like iridescence about it.
Tiger shark, they kill a lot of people,
Yeah.
but it's because they're hungry. They don't
Yeah.
have a bad temper like a bull shark does.
Right.
A bull shark will eat you if he's hungry, and he'll also bite you if he's angry.
Right.
You know, people, they hook a bull shark, they're fighting a rod and reel,
Yeah.
and the guy gets in the water to go check it out and take a picture of it. That's a big mistake. If he sees you in the water, he's going to unleash his anger on you.
Oh yeah.
So do not get in the water with a hooked.
Oh my lord. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Here's a Mako.
God, that is, man, that's so cool. I love the nose too. I think that's one of the first things when I first saw Mako in person. The nose is almost like fake how sharp it is.
Yeah, it's pencil point.
It's crazy. You don't like it was
When
the
I
first thing
saw,
that I remember.
When I first saw the first Makos, I can't believe that this fish is actually real. It looks like
I know.
It's a magnificent design of God. I've never
It's like
seen
glowing almost too.
Yeah, it's like a supersonic design.
And they're
of
so
an animal.
fast. The way they come in and they're like, it's almost like they know what they're gonna do
I move
before.
slow around them because you don't want to show speed. That way they show speed. He'll also, one thing, a Mako waits till you're not looking, and then he'll try to bite you in the ankle.
Yeah.
A lot of
That's
times he'll do
amazing.
that. He's a very dangerous shark.
So where was your first Mako interactions? Off California or like?
In California.
Yeah.
The
for
first
Wildboyz
time-
or separate?
The first time I ever saw Mako was in California, and then later on, the biggest one I ever saw was in Louisiana.
Oh, like a wreck or something?
No, in the deep Gulf.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen 3 Makos in Louisiana, and the rest are in California. California, it's got a lot of Makos, a lot of pups, a lot of small Makos, but I've seen them up there like 300 pounds and stuff like that, and 350 in California.
And that's a big Mako. Like the people don't realize, like even a small one is like quick and long and stuff because they're so streamlined. It's not
I caught a 25 pounder. I grabbed him. He was swimming around me. When I wasn't paying attention, I eased my hands, got a hold of him, and I lifted him out of the water to show people in the boat.
Yeah.
And then I released him.
And you just swam off?
Yeah. One thing, I never killed a Mako, and I never killed a tiger.
Yeah.
By the time I started filming the sharks, I had never encountered them before, so I'd never shot one.
Right.
But like I shot bulls, I shot great hammerheads back when it was legal.
Yeah.
Back in the day, and then I started. First, I interacted with the great hammerhead.
Really?
I was able to ride them and hand feed them.
With
I
that
worked-
giant fin.
Yeah, it's giant shark, real powerful. I found out that he didn't have a bad temper. It was strictly the tiger and the hammerhead. I didn't see the temper.
Yeah.
I saw more like he'll kill you if he's hungry.
Yeah.
When their appetite is kicked in, they're unstoppable.
You know what I think's interesting about a hammerhead? You'll see a big hammerhead and it's like almost intimidating, crazy looking, and then they're almost like a little shy at times, don't you think?
Until they're really hungry.
Until when they're hot. Like you
Yeah, when
see the
they're hot,
videos of them
they
ripping
can't stop.
tarpon up next to the boat. They
Back
don't
in the day,
care.
they've been shot and you're still eating after being
Really?
shot. Yeah. They don't know how
And
to
they
turn off.
keep eating.
They don't know how to turn off their engine. Once the eating mode kicks in, he may not know how to
Yeah.
turn it off. It takes a while for it to shut down.
Right.
It's kind of strange the way they are. I also work with the scallop hammerheads too.
Where was that? Like Galapagos? Or?
There's some in the Keys and in the Gulf of Mexico.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot of scallop hammerhead around.
I don't know if I've ever seen one of those.
They're mostly in the
person.
blue
That's
water.
crazy. Really?
You see them
And what's
way
their
offshore.
difference between them and the great hammerheads? Like as
The
far
shape
as,
of the head, the dorsal is
but
not
like
as big.
temperament wise.
I saw them pretty similar.
Yeah.
You know, the great hammer is much bigger.
Have you ever worked with any great whites or anything like that?
Not great whites. I never did tigers, great hammerheads, Makos,
Yeah.
and bulls and lemon sharks. What I work. Caribbean reef shark also.
Those can be temperamental, right?
Blacktip. I work with blacktip and
Yeah.
spinner shark. I hand fed both. I hand fed a lot of lemon shark, and I hand fed a lot of Caribbean reef shark too. I got bit by a Caribbean reef shark,
On the hand or where?
the leg.
Really?
It came from behind. Caribbean reef shark is very dangerous.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a bull. They'll go for it, and they go in a feeding frenzy, and they explode.
Yeah.
They bite a lot of people, especially in the Bahamas.
So what is like a shark from around the world that maybe you haven't, that you're like interested in, that you haven't really interacted with? Is there any?
Right now, back then, I wanted all of them. You know, there's some I never did. One, I wanted to find a longfin mako, something more rare.
Yeah.
I didn't get to find one of those. I didn't get an opportunity with a great white.
Yeah.
When I almost had an opportunity, I lost it. And then
Really?
Yeah. Then I didn't get a chance. One time they're going to put us on a boat, when the owner of the boat said he didn't want me on board the boat.
Really?
Yeah, he thought I was going to be a liability, which I probably would have been.
Maybe.
I mean, maybe it's good that I never encountered it. I don't, I go into like a frenzy
Yeah.
when I'm there with them, and I just go all the way, and I start taking more chances, and
I got a
before you
guy
know
in
it, I'm
South
gonna
Carolina.
reach inside his mouth and brush his teeth. You know what I mean? I don't want to go.
Manny, we might be able to make it happen. I'm not kidding. I swam with one last year with the great white. Swear to God. I'll show you the video. I think.
He's not more dangerous than the other sharks.
No.
He's just more famous and big and all
Yeah.
that.
But I'm saying we should get you
When-
on the boat with this guy. He would
When
love
they
it.
they're out here right now.
Yeah.
When they're tracking them all over Florida right now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great whites out there. I think what's happening, the orcas are killing them right now.
Yeah.
They're starting to kill them, but there's too many great whites on the planet, I think.
There's getting to be more with the seals.
There's never been that many great whites. There's more seals, so there's more great white. And they're both protected. The seals protected, so is the great white. So they're gonna. So we turn this into a great white planet, basically.
Yeah. And like, the thing to me that's interesting is like, when people go in, I think one thing that I feel like you have a good appreciation of is like, if you're going to swim with one, you don't want to get bit, obviously, but if he does, you're not really like, it's not the shark's fault. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people get mad that they're messing with the shark and it bites them. You know what I'm saying?
Animals will do horrible things, but animals are not guilty of the sin of murder.
Right.
Because they don't know right and wrong.
Right.
We do.
Right.
We're guilty for our bad actions. They're dangerous. Yeah, they are dangerous. I'm not going to get angry at the shark. Oh, he's evil. No, he's dangerous, and if you go in there, he will attack you. I'm not going to give him a break either. I'm not going to say, oh, there's no misunderstanding.
Right.
This animal is a man killer and a man eater. Okay, a lot of these sharks are, and a lot of these animals are dangerous man eaters. They are what they are, and they're lethal. There's no such thing as misunderstood or anything. Understand one thing: they will kill, they will attack, and I tell it to everybody so I don't get the wrong idea or anything. Are they cool? Yeah, they're very cool. Are they beautiful? They're beautiful. Are they part of the planet? Interesting? Yes. That's that much I can tell you. Are they dangerous? They are. Can they overpopulate? Yeah, they can. Like anything else. Can you overfish them, deplete them? You can. Like anything else.
What's like the biggest thing that you look back and you're like, that could have been really, really bad. That didn't maybe cost you, but like when you're sitting in bed at night and you're like having a nightmare and you're like, tell me what happened there.
Western Diamondback rattlesnake, shooting a show.
Yeah.
I was a little overdone, a little tired, dropped my guard a little bit, and took a hit. Because I catch snakes the same way. Everything I did, of course, I'm not going to use any equipment. I'm going to reach in and grab the snake any which way. And I used to do it like that. I got bit twice, and a lot of close calls.
And that was one of them?
That's the second time I got bit, and I thought I had to pray. I thought this time it might kill me. It was a close to 6 foot Western Diamondback, and a ton of venom was in me. And later on, the fingers got to come off. But the doctor told my people that he could lose his hand. That's how bad it is.
And you're in the hospital getting anti-venom?
I'm pretty much, anti-venom. And I said, give me a lot. I need a lot of that. I told him, well, we got a little bit of time. No. Give me like 50 gallons of it right now. Yeah. He says, there's a big snake, and it hurts like crazy. The pain is excruciating.
So right when he bit you, you felt it right away?
Yeah, it's on camera. I'm like, I looked at everybody. They got me. It was one of those real relaxed, calm moment. Like, I'm sorry to tell you, but I'm bit. And everybody, okay, let's go to the hospital. So I still have the snake in my hand.
So you did catch him as you did?
Yeah. I'm holding him, and I'll tell you, he got me. You can't even hardly tell that he got me. You have to look at the camera twice to really the tight video to see where he got my hand.
Right away, you're like, oh, shit, this is bad.
Yeah, you feel the sting, and I said, okay, he got me. I was off by half an inch. He turned his head. I had him by the neck, and he was able
you weren't far up enough on him?
Yeah. Well, you only got half inch is all it takes. He throw his fangs out and go like that.
That's so while you're holding him.
I got bit here in high school, and that was from a pygmy rattlesnake, and that was pretty bad. I was 17 when I got bit there.
But that one was just anti-venom, and then it
anti-venom and everything, and I was able to keep my thumb. Then I got bit by lemon shark here, so this thumb is a little...
Is there a mark?
No. It's a little flatter than the other one.
You got it? Yeah, I do see that. That's crazy.
So it ate some tissue. It did something. So some always have problem.
When the only other guy I know that's been bit by a rattlesnake, he told me when it bit him, it was a Hellerai. You know those ones in California, the Southern Pacific rattlesnake?
No.
He was saying that it felt like
May God bless him if he's alive, because let me tell you something. That is such a deadly snake.
Oh yeah.
That's one of the worst snakes in the planet. Yeah. In planet Earth to get bit by. It's probably, if it's not the most deadliest snake.
He said it bit him in the...
don't live from that.
It bit him in the pinky, barely, and his legs went paralyzed when he was in the ambulance.
People die. They bleed out of their eyes, out of their nose, out of the ears. It dissolves your brain. No, that is nothing. They're so common, too. I picked them up. I did a show with them. I was picking them up and playing with them all day long. I did it with the Wildboyz, and I did it on Savage Wild, picking up and playing with Southern Pacific.
So, but he said the way he felt it was like getting it slammed in a car door right away. Is that what you felt? Like, what was that feeling like when you were on the way?
Snake has hemotoxin and neurotoxin. It's a mixture. What it has, it's really, really bad. That's what that snake has. It's kind of compared to the Mojave rattlesnake.
Yeah.
They're right there. The Northern Pacific, believe it or not, is not as toxic as the Southern Pacific.
Yeah.
But I saw some videos of people bitten by the Southern Pacific, and it scared me.
Oh yeah. It takes a lot to scare you.
Yeah, no, I can be scared.
Really?
Yeah. I'm like everybody else. I'm not. I'm 100% fearless. No, a little bit of fear sometimes.
What's like the weirdest
survival
thing
instinct.
that someone wouldn't guess that scares Manny Puig?
Heights. You
Really?
never see me. You never see me.
I hate heights too.
You'll never see me mountain climbing. I'll go deep underwater. But
Yeah.
No mountain climbing for me. You're not gonna see me like those guys, like that guy that crawls on the side of buildings and all that.
I hate that.
No, if I watch him on TV, I'm shaking just from watching him doing it.
I agree. You know what I think about
But
heights?
wild animals, no. Wild animals,
But-
I swam with grizzly bears. I swam with killer
Really?
whales. Oh yeah, I got him. I petted. I got him. I've had black bears mock me, charge at me. I've petted black bears in the water. I've done all kinds of wild animals. I'm pretty cool about that. When it comes to boars, I've messed them a lot, but they do scare me sometimes.
Pigs?
I got tore up by one pretty bad.
Oh really? You don't catch those by hand, do you?
No, this one I did. I was hunting him and he attacked me. I ended up scrambling the ground with him. And
Those big tusks and cutters too.
He had small tusks, but it doesn't matter. He cut the daylights out of me. I
That's crazy.
got missing tendon right here on that arm.
From
Just a
that?
little, yeah, in my leg too. It's still messed up to this day. This hand has never been the same.
From the board.
And this hand has never been the same from the rattlesnake, but it feels like rubber.
So what do you think? Obviously, no one
That's
wants
why
to
I do my artwork.
Right. No one ever wants to lose a finger, but I gotta say, when it comes to like the legend of like you, it's like I feel like it gives you a little bit of like you're larger than life. You missing a finger from this like.
I photograph with people when they hey
Yeah.
Manny, can I get a picture with me? I always remind them, this is not from a chainsaw, it's from a rattlesnake, so it's it goes along with the theme,
It doesn't hurt. You know what I mean? It's like if you were to see him in the wild,
It's
and you
better
see
to
him, you're
have your
like-
finger, but if you don't have it, capitalize on it.
Like if you were like an accountant, that would suck. But it's like to be like the Sharkman, Manny Puig, like catching gators and all these things, it kind of fits a little
Yeah,
bit.
I'm not gonna play piano anytime soon.
No, I don't think you're. Maybe you could be a 9-finger piano player. I don't know.
No. That's
You
the
never
thing.
know. What about like crocodiles, like saltwater crocs down here in the Everglades and
I've
stuff?
encountered crocodiles.
But you can't really mess with those, can you?
No, you can't mess
They're a
with them.
lot like more.
There's more protection involved, more of a complicated. From what I've heard and what I know, they tire quicker than alligators. They're faster than gators, but they don't have the endurance or the strength of an alligator.
Interesting. Because I do notice
they're
that like
faster.
they're definitely bigger and faster. Like
They're faster. They're faster. I mean, they're all different. You can
Right.
put a nice crocodile and a nice alligator, or you can have a mean alligator and a mean crocodile.
What about
Some
us?
alligators are stronger than other gators. Some gators are faster than other gators. Some gators like to eat people. Some gators prefer not to eat people. They prefer to eat minnows. All the gators are different. Gators do attack people. He's not misunderstood, and they do eat people. They've been eating people for hundreds of years. What stopped alligators from eating people when they're almost extinct, there was no attacks.
Right.
Once the population came back, 'cause I remember reading books, alligators do not attack people. Oh, really? They don't. They didn't. I thought until I started seeing all the attacks coming out everywhere. Once the population rebounded, and then I remember reading about Bartram, the French naturalist in Florida.
Yeah.
He said they were attacking the Indian villages in broad daylight to eat the Indians. This is early Florida.
when
You
they
know,
were
when
just,
the Indians over here, not even around anymore, the original Indians. And there were also, you couldn't cross the St. Johns River on a canoe. The alligators would
tip
pull
it
you out.
over? Come
they
on.
were- they were so bad. The guy, Barton, said you couldn't cross the St. Johns. He says there's so many gators and they were enormous. He said
Oh,
they were very aggressive, but after 400 years of people shooting at them, they kind of, okay, I'm going to stay away from people. They start thinking like that and they start hiding. Alligators run fast. If he's hunted before, he's very shy.
Right.
You go to Everglades National Park, you can walk up to him. You go in a hunting area, you see him 100 yards away, he's already going on the water and hiding.
Yeah.
They're totally different animal.
Like, have you ever seen a gator that I know that you've seen a million of them, but have you ever seen one that was so big that it kind of like scared the shit out of you? Where you're like, I don't know if I should mess with him?
The biggest alligator I ever saw, I levitated.
Really?
It was over 13.
And you're just sitting there. And did you know, like, okay, I can do this? Or are you like, I don't know what's going to happen?
I was like, I didn't hesitate. I've done it so many times. The size didn't matter. It could have been, if he would have been bigger, I would have still levitated him.
So there's no point where you're like, man, I don't know if I should be, like, there's nothing that would make you have pause like that.
I found a real big one down here in South Florida and a real big one in North Florida. I levitated both of those giants.
Really? Do you go looking for like the biggest one, or is it just any of them?
Whatever shows up that day, we're filming, we're interacting, we're looking around. If it's a small one, that's what I'm gonna approach. If it's a big one, there's no, whatever's there.
Right.
Whatever I like going out there. What are we gonna? Well, today we're gonna look for bears. No, we're gonna look for whatever we can find.
Right.
That's my idea. If you're out diving, what kind of shark are we gonna dive with today? We don't know. Let's see what shows up.
Yeah. Is it ever annoying to be Manny Puig when people are saying, "Hey, I got a gator in my backyard. Can you come help it?"
I tell them to call Fish and Wildlife.
Yeah.
And they'll send a trapper out to get it. I'm not a licensed trapper, so I'm not gonna be doing that. And it's not my thing. I know other people that do that. It's their thing. My thing right now is the art.
Right.
And yeah, there's a deal going down or something like that, or there's business-wise we're gonna go. But I don't want to swim with alligators and sharks every single day to see when I'm gonna get bit again.
Right. Like you've spun the lottery wheel enough times.
Yeah. You can only do. It's just like if a guy that does skydiving every day. One day the parachute doesn't open. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. It is. But I made it this far. I did good. My Lord, I'm a Christian. My Lord Jesus blessed me with all these gifts, and I always give God the credit. So He'll continue to give me the credit. So I stay safe out there. If not, people can believe me or not believe me. They can take it or leave it. I
think the results are there.
Yeah, they can believe whatever they want. I'll trust in God. I'm not going to trust in myself. I'll leave it there.
It's beautiful. Well, I got to tell you, man, it's so cool sitting here with you in real life and kind of like pick your brain. Is there anything that is not animal related that kind of like makes like is there anything people wouldn't expect that you do on a day-to-day basis? I know you got the cats here. We were talking about the cats earlier.
Yeah, my family likes cats.
Yeah.
So we adopted a lot of cats. When I was by myself, I didn't have any animals because I was always on the go. I don't.
Right.
It's just more responsibility. But once you have family, you get responsibilities. You get a home. It makes you more grounded. Having a family makes you more grounded. You got more responsibilities. If not, you're like, you're with the wind. Yeah. It's good. You mature more.
Right.
I was very late in maturing mentally.
I think I might be on my way there too. I'm trying still.
Yeah, it's like that. I can't change what way things are. I can only try to make the right choices.
Yeah.
And do the right things in life. That's all I can do.
And what, like, when you look back on, like, everything, obviously you have a lot of stuff off camera and things. What's, like, your most proud moment as far as, like, something that if you had to do the highlight reel that you're like, that was the coolest thing I've ever done? Out of someone who's done a lot of cool things.
There are things that I consider that were cool for me. It's not competing. There's other people in this world that have done greater things than I have by far. And I don't compare to them. But in my world, it's cool. I did what I liked, whether other people liked it or not. Everything that I did is what I was fascinated by. I didn't expect everybody else to like it the way I did or be into what I am. Everybody's different. But there are people that have bigger callings in life than I did, for example. I did the best. I was always into the wilds and everything else. And this planet is still as wild. We can go anywhere we want to go, but the wild animals are still there. The swamps are there. The jungles are there. The wild animals are abundant. Like there's no tomorrow. Yeah, certain species almost went extinct. Everything is rebounding. A lot of species are doing great. Others disappeared, but overall, if you're into the wild, there's many places in the planet you can go to right now that are full of wild animals, and adventure is out there waiting, for those who want to do it. But again, these adventures are all dangerous. You gotta,
Do you think it's as good now as when you were growing up, or maybe better in some regards?
The shark diving is 1,000 times better now than when I was doing it. When I was doing it, nobody else was really doing it.
Yeah,
we were very early on it, but the sharks are a lot more rare. They were being long lined out and everything. Back then, they were low population, depleted. Now it's overpopulation, just the opposite. A lot of people that I know that are spearfishing are all getting bit by sharks.
Yeah.
People are getting attacked left and right. Alligators are biting everybody left and right. When I started with the alligators, they weren't as abundant.
Right.
They became more and more abundant in the last years of my explorations with them.
Yeah.
I have no problem. I can go find alligators right now and swim with them right now. We can get in our car and go.
Yeah.
We'll jump in a swamp. We'll find a dozen gators in a few minutes.
Get the itch to go do that?
And no, if I'm there, I might. Like a lot of times, you want to go diving, no, but once I'm in the water, I scare myself. If I see sharks, what am I start doing?
Start riding them.
Well, I'm gonna frenzy the sharks, and I'm gonna put the situation so dangerous that everybody's in the water with me. His life is gonna be endangered. I'm gonna get these sharks to attack to get the action, and I'm gonna turn a perfectly safe situation into the most unsafe situation you could ever imagine. So you may not want me to be in there with you,
because you can't help it.
I'm gonna have to tell everybody, okay, everybody get out of the water now. But this is it's going crazy right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been bitten by 4 different types of shark. That'll tell you something.
What has there ever been like a really famous person that reached out? Obviously, you were maybe one of the most prominent people in the world as far as doing this stuff. There's had to be a lot of people that are like, hey, can you take me out and catch gators or do this?
They ask me all the time. A lot of times I just don't want to deal with it. I'm too lazy.
Yeah.
I just relax. I'm going out to dinner tonight.
Right. Right.
I don't want to get in the mud right now.
Right.
I've done a lot of that. Way too much. I spend a lot of time out there doing that. Like I said, I'm 69 years old right now. I'm working out a little bit just to stay in condition. I've been seeing that.
You've been working out, getting it going.
In case I have to do it.
Right.
In case if that is the name of the game, that's what the plan is, then I'll go do it. In the meantime, I don't want to come home and tell my family, hey, I got eaten alive today,
Right.
See ya,
Yeah.
I'm useless right now. I don't want to go there, so I'm trying to be more responsible with what I do. If you're doing these things, keep in mind that you want to come home in one piece. You want to be responsible to your family and everybody else around you, that you want to survive this. You want to do your adventure and come home in one piece.
Yeah.
Alive and in one piece, because you can come back alive and missing part of you. So keep that in mind.
Yeah. Well, we're glad that you're in one piece, Manny. I got to tell you, anytime you want to talk or do this, you're welcome. We would love to have you on here, and we'll if you ever want to go do adventures, we'll see. I'm always in.
I know you're getting ready to do something, so I'm gonna let you go.
I appreciate your time, Manny. And one more time for people just to hit you up on Instagram if they want to buy something.
Yeah, they can. Manny Puig on Instagram has got a picture of me holding a shark jaw.
Yeah.
That one right there.
Oh yeah.
That's a bull shark, by the way. It's one of the last sharks I actually shot.
Beautiful. How big was that?
I won't
6,
do
7?
About 8. 300 pounds or so fat. I'm not gonna do that again. It was like probably 3 feet max visibility. When I fired on that guy, you're not gonna catch me hunting a bull shark in that dirty water again like that.
That's
or
wild.
Feeding one or anything. I've hand-fed sharks in very dirty water before.
Where was that?
In the Keys. Outgoing tide.
Oh, man.
In the channels, you can't. And outgoing tide in the channel. You can't. In the channels, you can't see your hand when the outgoing tide. You ever seen go out there?
Oh yeah.
Go to like Bahia Honda or Semi Bridge. Look at the water, the outgoing tide. Look at the visibility.
I fished there from a boat, not from the water.
Well, I got that on the outgoing tide.
That's crazy.
So no, never again. That's desperation to the fire getting it.
Yeah.
After that, I did more and more video, and less of the hunting.
Yeah.
But I mean, bull sharks, you can get one per person. It's got to be legal size and everything. Fisherman, there's one of the few sharks you can actually still catch in Florida. Yeah. Bull shark and blacktip. There's, I think, tiger, lemon, hammerhead. They're all protected. Let people know that so they know not to go out and kill. Whatever you do, don't break the laws out there. These you'll get in trouble. A lot of these species are protected. Pay attention to what type of shark you're catching. If it's a protected species, just let it go.
Yeah.
Immediately. And that's the way it is. I always recommend people don't break any of the laws out there. The fishing laws are put there for a reason. And
yeah. And check out, man. I mean, there's hundreds of hours of footage of this guy doing crazy stuff, so you're not going to be hard pressed to find.
It's all over the place.
It's all over the place.
I don't even know what's out there. Okay, so
it probably makes them a little bit like there's so much of it. It's like we can't even keep track. I've watched, I think, all of it. To be honest, I've seen it, and you know what's the craziest thing? when you're growing up, it's like you're even a better dude in real life. So that's the good thing. I feel like you're a good person, which a lot of people can be big on TV, but you're a down-to-earth person, which is I think that's even more admirable than doing the cool stuff. So thank you for your time, Manny, and we'll see you soon. Thank you very much. Thank you.